time it is. I got a dope interview, dope, hot, fire, legendary interview coming up in a couple minutes. He goes by the name of Dres. He's from Black Sheep. So he'll be joining my live. We're gonna talk where he's been, where he's going, what he's doing now, and we're gonna talk real hip hop and history. So I'm real excited about that. I'm real excited about that because I love promoting the dreams that turn into reality. But at this particular moment, I'm interviewing someone who, paved the way for hip hop. You have to give people their flowers now. I'm not a person who likes to wait until something bad happens to them before I give them their flowers. No, I'm giving it to them now. And if you don't know who I'm talking about Dres from Black Sheep. If you don't know what Black Sheep is, it's a group, a hip hop group. I gotta educate y'all. Okay, this is him. Okay, this is him, Black Sheep, Dres. There he is. I gotta show y'all who he is because that's how he looks now. You probably don't. If you don't know, you've been living under a rock. I'm sorry. I'll play some. This beat right here is "Flavor of the Month," which is a song from Black Sheep. This is the group that he was from. So I'm gonna actually play the actual song so you guys can hear how, if you don't remember, I'll give you a little heads up on what's going on with him. But yeah, he'll be joining my live and we're gonna talk everything him. But in the meantime, okay, beautiful, thank you. I love when y'all give me compliments because you know what, that's what I like to give to people, compliments. But every now and then I need to hear myself, and I do look good, thank you. But again, what you guys look like now is the Deevah Entertainment website. This website is where you can actually go to connect with me directly. Well, not with me, with my team, and I'll get back to you. Okay? We have services. We have premium music video editing services. We have promotion on SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, whatever platform you need promotion on. We have a team that can help you get to that next level. If you want to get your name out there as far as the press, we have people that can help you get your name out there. Writing, this is dope. If you want to get your music in the stores, distribution, we do that as well. We can help you with publishing as well, have all the content in your actual name. This is great. I'm just so excited about that. But great. Hold on. I see somebody that's joined my live. I got to stop talking about me and get to what I'm talking about. Okay, there you go. Okay, I like to show off. Okay, anytime, Dres, you can join in live. You see, y'all, he's here. Okay, he's right, man. Play this. Listen.
How's it going?
How are you? I'm good first. So
how's everything? Hey, now.
You're good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm good. How about you? Yeah. The connection's a little. Okay, there we go. It was a little frozen for a second. All
right. So we good now. So I see
right,
you feeling. Got your hat on. You chilling. I'm proud of you. I'm happy.
How's everything?
We're getting ready to get right into this interview. So you're a legendary, person in hip hop game. You're aware of that, correct? I don't want you to start acting like you're a little too modest, but you're a legend.
Well, I've been doing it for a little while.
And you're from Queens, and you moved to Sanford, North Carolina. How did that transition? And I want to get to that first before we get into where you started, as far as the music.
Okay. All right. To North Carolina?
Yeah,
I'm trying to. All right, better. I was trying to get myself situated. I'm horrible at sometimes at just being situated. Yeah, well, you know what? Carolina for me was I initially moved to Fayetteville, North Carolina. My parents divorced early, and my mom met my stepfather, who wound up becoming a officer in the Army. So in high school, I got sent to North Carolina with my family, and we're living in Fort Bragg. And I'm from Astoria Projects in New York. So it was definitely, it's kind of twofold. when we were moving from New York to Carolina, I expected this racism that a young black boy in New York growing up would hear about as far as the South is concerned. So I was kind of prepared to do battle, like I was expecting this very racist Southern mentality, and
came ready.
and yeah, right. Like, so in my mind, I'm ready, and I was kind of like a born fighter. Like I got into a lot of fights as a kid, so I'm telling myself, all right, well, this is it. You know what I'm saying? This is me going to the South. I'm going to deal with this lynch mentality, so to speak, that even for me, I felt would still exist because, things hadn't changed even in New York as far as you experiencing racism. So I felt like, wow, I'm going to the heart of racism. And I was pleasantly surprised that I wound up going to this high school called E.E. Smith. E.E. Smith is in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and it's probably 90% black. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it was just, I was blown away. But mind you, I'm going to set a couple of things up for you. Huh? Right. To a degree, very much. To a degree, very much. But mind you, I had this whole mentality of the first time I encounter racism, I'm slapping racism in his mouth. Like, as soon as, like, right off the door, they're not going to mistake me for someone that's going for it, as far as racism is concerned. So, mind you, my very first day of school, we're playing basketball. Mm-hmm. And so this is this thing about the South where somebody might say to you, hey, boy, where you from?
Oh, no, I can't say that.
Mind you. So the first person that says, to me, hey, boy, what's your name, was a white kid. And this is no lie. This is no joke. This is no exaggeration. This kid says, and mind you, the school is predominantly black.
Black, okay.
So the fact that a white kid said to me, hey, boy, what's your name? Where you from? Hey, boy, he knew I was from, and I immediately go into a roundhouse kick and put my footprint on this kid's face. What? You can see clearly sneaker marks on his face. Like, who you calling boy? to which a black kid says, hey, boy, why you do that? And right then and there, I realized, oh, snap. Like, I made a mistake. Oh, oh, snap. Like, everybody says boy. You know what I'm saying? And they was looking at me like I was just horrible. Like, why'd you do that? Like, what's your problem? To which I had to kind of like, oh, huh?
That's interesting because most people, they're nice, they're friendly, and coming from up north, you're equipped for like whatever, because up north is a little, rougher, to say. So to come down there, expect racism and demean. Okay, I get it.
And
so no, finish. What you was getting ready to say?
No. It was just a very, very humbling experience. Saying, because here I was so ready to be the aggressor and protect myself. I wound up kind of looking foolish. And when I was at the school, I quickly learned that it was a very special school called E.E. Smith in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and like I said, it's predominantly black. And if you was a knucklehead at this school, you was kind of frowned on. Like most of the kids there were academically sharp. Most of them, were good, students and good people and what have you. And I felt like I had made this big mistake prejudging, where I was going. I didn't realize that this school was an anomaly of sort, that, this wasn't how it was at everybody's school. Everybody's school wasn't this progressive, mostly black school, like with a marching band that marched like Morgan State and, like high stepping and, it was just a progressive black place. And I went there for 3 years. And then when my step-parent, my stepfather and my father wound up getting a divorce 3 years into me going to high school there. And me, my mom, and my sister moved to this really small town called Sanford. Now, Sanford, I was going to the inverse of that high school. I was going to, Sanford was the place that I thought that I would be going to initially. Unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? So let me tell you about my first day there, and it's quite the story. So now I'm going to a school that's 90% white. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a whole different experience. And everything that I feared I would be coming down to, I now was face to face with, like very literally. And the first day of school, let me tell you about my first day of school, and it's quite a story. I don't think I've ever really told it in an interview. My first day of school is a rainy day. I'm riding the school bus. I'm a senior in high school. My sister she goes to the junior high school. Now I'm already kind of disappointed because I'm finding out that my sister and I have to ride the same school bus, and that the bus will stop at the junior high school, drop off the junior high school kids, and then proceed to the high school. So I'm already disappointed in that. Like, I got to bring my little sister with me to, to the bus stop. All right, whatever. So it's a rainy day. And so we're standing, we're waiting for the bus, and the bus pulls up and it's jam-packed. It's a sea of white kids. We're the only black kids on this bus. We quickly assess that as soon as we step on the bus, like, oh, snap. There's no seats. There's not one seat available. Every seat is full. So we literally have to ask two different, chairs if they don't mind sitting three to a seat. To, and we're like in the middle of the bus, and we choose the same row. So it's kind of like we're halfway on one cheek on the seat and halfway in the aisle, and she's halfway on the seat and halfway there. So we're damn near leaning on each other in the aisle, because we're not trying to be too close to them. They're already kind of like sucking their teeth in this and the other. And the bus starts on the way to school. Now, as we're on our way to school, we start hearing from the back of the bus, we got niggas on our bus? To which I'm like, what? Ooh. Niggas? And now I'm hearing it from different kids. How did we get niggas on our bus? Wow, we got niggas on our bus. And I turn around, and everybody's looking the other way. And I'm like, oh, shit. Right? So the bus ride continues. And, now I'm hearing, why you turn around, nigga? Is there any other? And I'm like, I'm bugging. Like I said, I am like, oh, shit. Yeah. Like, this is my very first day. And so on a rainy day on the school bus, the condensation, all of the windows are fogged over. So when I turn around this time and everybody's looking the other way, but now I see KKK written in the fog. I see nigga written in the fog. I look at, the back exit window is nigga written on the fog. And I'm blown away. I'm almost shocked, like to the point that I'm just stopped. And again, from the back of the bus, nigga, you not going to be on our bus. Oh, hell no. We not going to have a nigga on our bus. We got niggas on our bus. And like, I'm just like, wow. Just blown away. And I'm debating to myself, like, how do I handle this? To which I look to the side at my sister, and my sister was trembling, crying, afraid in a way that, that only that my little sister is sitting right next to me, and I'm feeling her crying and trembling, and now I'm livid. Now I'm mad. One of the kids in the back, winds up, having the balls to yell, nigga, really loud and long. To which I turn around really quickly and I catch him. I catch it coming out of his mouth, and he tries to turn, but I caught him. And I very gingerly stood up, proceeded to the back of the bus, to right where he's standing, stand over him, and he looks up to me about to say something, and I can tell he's about to say something smart, but before he could get the first words out of his mouth, I put my fist in it, and I proceeded to beat this dude's ass something horribly. Like, put my hands between the two seats, and I'm literally jumping up and down trying to stomp this dude between two seats. I'm literally trying to stomp him through the bus. I beat the daylights out of this kid, to which all of the other kids are scattering, running, you know, as far away from me on a bus as they could get, because I'm trying to kill this kid. Like, straight up, I'm trying to hurt him. So, you know, the bus driver pulls over, pulls me off this kid. He's a mess. And, you know, they proceed to take us to school, drop my sister off. You know, you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. She's crying. Okay, all right, cool. You know, I'm going to be talking to mom, I'm assuming. I'll let her know what happened, this and the other. I get to school. They take me right to the office. My mom winds up coming directly to the school, meets me up there, tell them the whole story. Tell them what happened. And, you know, like, I've got one of those black activist moms too. She's like, you know, well, you did right. You did, you know, you did what you were supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Nonetheless, I'm getting suspended off the bus. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, right. So I get suspended off the bus, and that I'm not going to be on the bus. And the vice principal, he's like, you know, I'm only going to suspend him for a week. You know what I'm saying? Like, what he did, the kid is on his way to the hospital. What he did to this kid, you know, it probably should be more, but yeah, you know, he's not totally at fault. Whatever. So I'm suspended off the bus for a week. 1 week later, you know, especially a black mother, a week later, my mom is not even debating driving me back to school. She's like, all right, well, you getting back on that bus today. You back on the bus today. You getting back on that bus. All right, that's what it is. So it seemed like the very same day. It's a rainy day. Me and my sister waiting for the bus. The very same scenario feels like the same day. When we get on the bus, it's a sea of white kids. All of the seats are full. We start walking towards the middle, to which a white kid says to me, do you want to sit here? And I say, yeah. And he grabs the kid next to him, and they go sit three to a seat. And they gave me and my sister that seat. To which I was like very appreciative. It was a silent trip. Nobody said nothing. We didn't say nothing. Mark my words, and this is no exaggeration. At the end of that week, the back seat was my seat. I'm telling you bus stories about New York that I'm just, you know, I'm straight up and then making it much bigger than it is. But the bus became like a bus. And like, you know, it got to the point where, you know, like literally, like I'd have the bus driver, once I got cool with a girl, I'd have him stopping to pick her up. And like, it literally became my bus. But it took that beginning for it to become something where, you know, like, oh, he's different. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, but yeah, the South was, it was a real learning experience. But
when you came back up, that's when you started the Black Sheep officially. Is that correct? When you guys, I think you went to Red Alert? Yeah.
My senior year of high school, I wound up meeting this kid named Stan. Now, Stan was from New York as well. And at his crib, he had equipment. He had turntables, mics, what have you. And so me and him became fast friends. And so literally every day after school, I'd be over Stan's house. And like I said, he had turntables, mics, this and the other. So every single day, and his mom was cool. We could smoke our little blunts and we could drink our little 40s at his crib. His mom was cool. So every day I was at Stan's house, just cutting, rhyming, making rhymes, but just on the strength of having something to do. And hip hop was young, and we was just so into it. And this cat that was in the middle school, my sister's school, that was come by, and he was just the most amazing DJ. And a kid, like he was just, his name was Shorty Doo-Wop, who would go on to be Mr. Long. And so every day for my senior year, I'd see these kids, you know what I'm saying? And there was a few more of us, but every day we'd meet there and we'd cut, we'd rhyme, we'd do stuff, make tapes and what have you. And little did I know that this was the training ground for a career later on. But in North Carolina at that time, and like I said, it was only 1 year that I lived in Sanford. I had no idea that was something I would go on to do. It was something I enjoyed doing. And my friends were much more interested, like if there was an open mic or something, they were always rocking. I would never rhyme in public. It was just something I like to do in my man's room. You know what I'm saying? And but I was really good. I probably was, you know, like the nicest MC in the room, but I didn't take it that seriously. And it would be a few years later, like when I finished high school, I left the week I finished high school, I left Carolina, back to New York, and I'm kind of doing my own thing. I wound up doing some street stuff that got me in some trouble. And when I get myself kind of out of that scenario that I never should have gotten myself into, I'm in college, I'm working, and I have my own apartment. And I'm kind of doing some of the things I should have done initially. And I'm coming from lunch one day. I was working for this federal agency that worked with the homeless. And I'm coming from lunch, and I'm walking down the street of Manhattan, and who do I pass but my little man from the room, Mr. Long, Shorty Doo-Wop. We literally passing by each other. And I'm like, oh, snap. Like, you know, what you doing here? Like, you know, but he was from New York. He just finished high school, and he's like, yo, I came to New York to pursue this music thing, man. And he's like, you know, like I'm in Brooklyn. I live with my aunt, her man, and their kid in a studio apartment. And I'm like, wow, like, yo, I said, I just got my own apartment. I was like, yo, if you want, I said, give me 1 week to kind of get situated, and you can come crash with me. And, you know, like you can kind of bounce out from there, you know, get your own place or whatever. But, you know, if you're in a studio with all of that, man, you can come crash with me. I have a 2-bedroom, I'm by myself. This was my little man. Like I felt very comfortable making the offer. So the next week he comes, he brings his turntables, records, and I'm like, I'm blown away. Like, wow, you still doing this stuff? Like, yo, that's so cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so at that point, I felt like it was for me to kind of check out kind of the things that he was doing, as opposed to introduce him to the things that I was doing. So I go with him to a studio. At the studio session was a Tribe Called Quest working on their first album. In the session, I don't.
Was it the B word? I think was it that the song that you were on? Was it?
No, B word. That's De La Soul. That's
De
De
La
La Soul.
Yeah,
Phonetic. This is Tribe working on their first album, and but in the session, it's a studio called Calliope. In the session, there was De La Soul, and there were the Jungle Brothers. So I'm blown away because I know De La Soul, I know Jungle. They already have records out, and I'm like looking at my little man, like, yo, wow, you know, like you kind of in the circle, some cool stuff. Like these are the native tongues, you know what I'm saying? And this is before Tribe's first album, so Tribe isn't even known yet, you know what I'm saying? And it happened. It was a quick evolution. Like we all looked at each other, and they already had known Long for a couple of years because he got cool with Red Alert, who started bringing him around them. So they looked at me like, you know, like an extension of Long, who they had a lot of love for. And it wasn't long before, like literally every studio session, all of us are, and everybody, you know, whoever session it was, we all were there together, and we started hanging out like every day. And I'm learning so much because now I'm a fly on the wall in a De La session. I'm a fly on the wall in a Jungle Brothers session. I'm seeing Tribe Called Quest music come out before anybody even knew who they were. So I'm learning a lot of things, and eventually me and Long kind of like I used to have a bunch of jewelry and what have you, and I pawned my jewelry right in front of Long. I pawned the jewelry, give him half the money, and I was like, yo, like let's demo tape, and let's get, you know, Red Alert was on top of everybody. He was kind of like the father of the situation. And I was like, yo, let's go make a demo. Let's give a copy to Red, and let's see if we can get some meetings set up, man. Like we're in the room with some of the greatest cats, man. Like if anything, it's like we're the black sheep of these dudes. You know what I'm saying? And that was the beginning of the name. And we make a demo, we give it to Red, we give copies to all of the groups. Everybody's blown away, like, oh wow. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't understand that me and Long has spent a year literally every day rhyming, cutting, making tapes. Like we both were dope DJs. We both could rhyme. We both had skills, but his skill set was as a DJ was bananas. And he had a DJ's ear. So there were songs that he was dying to put together, but he didn't have equipment. This is before, you know, like a sampler would be in the crib. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like they were seeing the genius in him because he had records that he had been dying to put together, you know what I'm saying, to a sample wise. And so I was able to reap the benefits of things that he had been wanting to do for years. as far as what I was rhyming on. So everybody was just blown away. And it wasn't long before, you know, we took a few meetings, Dres set up some meetings for us, and we wound up going with Mercury Polygram. And that was it for us, you know, like we were up and running, you know, and it was.
I have a question. How did you link up with Chris Lightly to be manager? How did that link up?
That was dope. Chris, God bless him. Chris was the road manager for the Jungle Brothers.
Okay.
So when we went out in the studio, you know, Chris was going to come through at some point. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, he's the road manager of the Jungle Brothers. He knows everybody in this room. You know what I'm saying? He's, you know, he's a violator. He's Red Alert's like, you know, he's like a little brother to Red Alert. So, you know, like when he's seeing us, you know, getting to know everyone. We're getting to know him. He's seeing our first demo. Red, you know, gives him a copy of what we're doing, and you know, like he's blown away. And we don't have any representation at this point. And he had aspirations beyond being a road manager. And you know, like he was interested in managing us, and we trusted him. We're all, you know, we've been in this room together for a little while now, so you know, we trusted him to take these meetings with us, and you know, and to speak on our behalf. And he wound up becoming our first manager. And the black sheep check, the check that we got for our deal, wound up becoming the document that solidified his corporation. It's the very first check that his corporation ever received. You know what I'm saying? So like we were a very instrumental part in his career as well. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And one of the things that we had was with Def Jam. And Def Jam, we really didn't hit it off with Leo. Huh?
Yeah. You say you turned down.
We didn't hit. We turned down Def Jam, but a few months later, they made an offer to Chris Lighty to work at Def Jam. Now Chris wanted to bring us to Def Jam, to which I was like that's not gonna work, man. Like I already know me and this dude Leo, we're not gonna get along, and to the degree that he doesn't realize it, but I hurt him. You know what I'm saying? Like his mouth was just a little. He's massively disrespectful, and I get that he's made a lot of people a lot of money, but he was the type of cat. He was the type of cat that especially for a white cat, like you're not gonna talk to me any kind of way that you feel and feel like I'm just gonna take it because you cutting checks. That's not really how I'm built. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna respect mine, period. And so I told Chris, like, yo, my dude, like that's not gonna work for me. And as much as I love you, I'm not going there to be up under dude. If dude is gonna be your boss, that means that he's gonna be trying to, you know, what it was the first time I met with him, he's on the phone making sure that I hear him talk disrespectfully about Slick Rick. And now in my mind, I'm like, I don't even have a record out. If you feel comfortable talking about Slick Rick in front of company, I can only imagine how you gonna treat us. This ain't gonna work for me. You know what I'm saying? Ooh. And so he winds up going on to work for Def Jam, and he introduces me and Long to Shakim at Flavor Unit. So that's how Flavor Unit wound up becoming our managers after Chris. Chris kind of gives us, you know, a dope alley-oop, if you would, to the unit, and beginning of a cool relationship as well. Big up to Shakim and big up to Latifah. They, you know, they helped us at a time, you know, when we had music out, we had the deal, but things were starting to happen for us, and they helped us kind of move it forward, you know.
Salute to you for standing your ground and, you know, being true to yourself. A lot of people can't say that. Some people will take that check, you know, just because, you know, their morals are at stake. So salute to you, for real. I'm really.
That was love.
How do you feel about success? Do you think it changes relationships? Because based on, you know, what you said thus far, people that you have, you know, interacted with, do you think it changes, or does it for the better or for worse? What's your take on it?
Success. It's a double-edged sword. You know, money, double-edged sword. In my opinion, it doesn't make you who you are. It amplifies who you are. You know what I'm saying? And if you're someone of substance and someone that's kind of grounded, if you're approachable, if you're an easygoing person, if you're a logistical person, then all of that is stuff that is going to resonate with people. People are going to like you for that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a stingy person, if you're a selfish person, if you're someone that puts a dollar sign on things that are actually priceless, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Then it magnifies that too. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I've seen how it plays, you know, and to the degree that, you know, like if you wasn't necessarily a good person, you know, some success can make you a horrible person. But if you're good innately, if you have goodwill and you come from a good place, even with your mistakes, I think that it can amplify that as well. And, you know, and that people, and that resonates with people as well, because, you know, we all make mistakes. We're all going to bump our head. We're all going to fall down. You know, sometimes the difference in it is what you do after that happens, and how you deal with that, and how honest you are with yourself as well, with those around you. You know, money and success, yeah, it's quite the beast, you know what I'm saying? And I've literally watched how it played in the native tongue. You know, one of the things that I always used to push towards all of the other cats in the groups, and like, mind you, when we talk with native tongues, we're talking De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest, Jungle Brothers, Queen Latifah, Moni Love, Chi Ali, Beatnuts, even, you know, affiliates like Brand Nubian and things thereof, you know what I'm saying? I used to always stress us forming a corporation, us, you know, taking a lot more, there was a lot more power that I felt that we had together. And once it got to the place where all of us could stand on our own as individuals, that De La could stand on their own, Tribe could stand on, Jungle could stand on, Latifah could stand on their own. Once it got to the place that everybody didn't need the other, then it wasn't that important. And that was a huge mistake, in my opinion, that, because, you know, to me, now mind you, mostly everybody was who they were when I met them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they already had a degree of success. So I'm kind of coming in and I'm making suggestions as the new kid, you know, and you know, I felt like the records that we were making, it was important for everyone to see that we were a microcosm of what we're asking them to be. We're making records asking them to be together. We're making records about self-empowerment, about unity, about the power of the Black dollar, about the power of the Black vote, about, you know, things that were really pertinent in our community. And I felt like it was important for us to be a microcosm of that, so that when people looked not only at our records, but when they looked at us, they saw an example of what we were asking them to be. And it's unfortunate that to this day, you can't write a check to the native tongue. It's unfortunate that we don't have our own distribution. We don't have our own, you know, touring network. We don't make records together anymore. You know what I'm saying? And all of that is a result of success. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of us as individuals, we're all able to take care of our families. We're all experienced veterans for 25 plus years. We've all made a living at doing what we do, but we didn't do what we asked the people to do.
Ooh.
We didn't move together. You can't write us a check right now. There's no board of directors. There's nothing that we pass to our children as a unit. You know what I'm saying? We do that as individual groups, but we don't do that together. And I dare to say that together, even right now, we're stronger than any one of us. But we've yet to attain that because of success. We've all, to a degree. And, you know, once the urgency was removed, then you know, then we became content. It's almost like, you know, sometimes in the Black community, you know, like when someone becomes successful and moves out of the community, you know, like the community still exists. There's still a need. There's still a cause. There's still a reason to go back. There's still a reason to give of yourself. There's still a reason to be an example that's much greater than you making it out. You know, so that's something that that I hope still comes into fruition. You know, like that's something that I still shoot for. And and hopefully God blesses us. With that happening at some point in our lifetimes and careers, because it's still there for us, like people would still come out to see a native tongue tour. People would still buy a native tongue record, and in my opinion, like we're supposed to control all of that. It's supposed to be on our label. It's supposed to be we're supposed to be the booking agency. If you buy some water at the native tongue show, it should have a picture of the native tongues on it. Like we can control everything if we just move together. So when it comes to success, like I said, it's a double-edged sword. You're very grateful for what you get out of it, but you'll always see what you did.
I like that answer, and I love giving people their flowers while they're here. And I want to ask you a question: because people don't, don't give the DJs the credit that they deserve. And I want to know, how important was DJ Premier in your career, as far as, where you are now, as far as personally, business-wise, how important was he in your career? So you have a lot of people, and I wanted to give him that, time for you to actually, yeah.
Me and Primo are very cool. Like, what I'm saying?
Oh.
And yeah, like me and Primo have been cool for a lot of years. Me and Guru, honestly, we didn't get along, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But we fixed that before he passed, which I'm very, very grateful about. But me and Guru, we used to bump heads a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I used to be kind of an asshole about it because I'm one of those cats that I feel like if you're my size, you can't beat me. Like it's just impossible. You have to be much bigger than me to beat me. So like anybody that's my size, like from everyone in the industry that's my size, I've always looked at it like, yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like I never sweat it. But Primo was my dude because I just thought he was just so masterful. I just thought he was just dope, just a good dude. You know what I'm saying? And we've always gotten along. I had the opportunity a few years back to rhyme on my first premiere beat for this series that he does called Bars in the Booth. And he had asked me to do it, you know what I'm saying? And he told me, he was like, I think you'd be the perfect MC. He's like, I did one episode and I'm gonna reintroduce it. And I think you'd be the perfect MC for me to reintroduce this series. And for him to say that to me, like that just meant the world to me because he's done projects from Big to Nas to everyone in between, you know what I'm saying? Like he's been around the elite of MCs. So for him to say, I think you'd be the first person, the best person to kick this off, I took it real seriously. And if you ever get a chance, pull up Bars in the Booth. It's a whole series of different MCs rhyming over DJ beats. And I'm not gonna gauge myself in the masses of the different MCs, but I think it's very obvious that I took it pretty seriously. And Primo's pretty dope. And I could tell you stories, about me and Guru having run-ins to, how I communicated it to him. And like, I literally saved Guru's life one night. Like Guru used to drink a lot. And there used to be this club called The Building. And mind you, and this happened like with us not even really getting along that well. He was really drunk one night. And it's like the end of the night. And there wound up being a shootout in the parking lot. So I'm in my car and I'm looking in the rear view and there's cats shooting at each other from two different sides of the parking lot. And I turn around and I see Guru drunkenly walking into the shootout. To which I'm like, dude is about to literally get tore up. And so I put my car in reverse and I skid out, spin around and pull up on the side of him, push the passenger door open, yell at him to get in. He gets in. Mind you, this is all during a shootout. He starts talking to me. He doesn't even realize there's a shootout going on. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, dude, you're like, yo, wow. skid out of the parking lot, go around the block, see Preem's MPV, pull up on his MPV, put the window down and yell at him like, yo, get your man. Get your man. Your man is wilding out here. And, you know, Guru's looking at me like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, dude. Like, yo, Primo is like, yo, looking out, this, that, and the other. But, you know, Primo's a good dude. He's got a good crew, you know, and he bleeds hip-hop. You know, love him to death. A lot of love.
You're amazing. You have a lot of energy. You're great to talk to. Awesome. I got one more question, and I'm going to let you go.
Sure.
No, probably two more.
It's all good.
Flavor of the month, or this is yours. Which one? Come on, you got to pick one. I'll let them
Flavor. I'm going to go with Flavor.
I knew it. Okay. All right.
Like Flavor to me was, don't get twisted, like, the remix of Choice is otherworldly.
Right.
Otherworldly. Like I remember when we were listening, like I remember when we finished the remix, we're in the studio, we're listening to it, and I'm like, yo, I don't know what we just did, but I do know we just did something. You know what I'm saying? And so it was hard to say, like 25, 30 years later, that record would be a generational hip hop record. Couldn't predict that. But I could predict that, yo, no one's ever heard anything like this before. But for me, Flavor of the Month, it just artistically, everything about it, all of the components fit organically. It was just this really cool introduction for us. And, you know, like it might, over time, it, you know, Choice is definitely the much bigger record, but artistically, you know, like it's, Flavor of the Month is not a remixed record. It was right the first time. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just what it is, and it's just something that's just very special and came at a very special time in hip hop. You know, and aside from, I can tell you, aside from the introduction, which got me in a little bit of trouble, not really, but because it wasn't because cooler heads prevailed, and it wasn't anything that I meant, but when the record first came out, at the very beginning of the record, it says, Long, my partner, who can say things sometimes that are very biting. He was one of Long is an asshole. Like Long, you know, and he'd be cool with me saying, because he knows like Long could be an asshole. So the beginning, Long says, you know, do I want some vanilla ice, or do I want to taste the chocolate? Now, Big Daddy Kane's album was called A Taste of Chocolate, and he's literally saying vanilla ice. And, you know, like when I didn't really care so much that he said vanilla ice, but when he said taste of chocolate, like I confront him like, yo, like, dude, are you trying to diss Kane? Like, I know you just, you know, and he reassures me like, nah, like, I'm not trying to diss Kane. Like, I'm just saying like, we're something different. I'm just saying, you know, this is our introduction. We're something different. And, you know, I never had a record out at this point in time. And I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that was good. You're telling me that you were, because we can't diss Kane. That's not what we're doing here. You know, I'm a huge fan of Kane's. But, you know, and it's not like I fear dissing Kane. It's just not what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? But, so, you know, I just wanted to make sure that that's not what we were doing subconsciously or on low. And if it was what you're trying to do, we got to change that. So he assures me that that's not what's happening. And true to form, when a record comes out, everyone thinks we're dissing Kane. Everyone thinks we're dissing Kane. I meet Kane's brother, Shane, Little Daddy Shane, and we hit it off crazy as soon as we meet, to which he kind of ends the conversation with, so why you dissing my brother? And I'm like, I'm not dissing your brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, this and the other. I was like, yo, man, I was like, I'm going to keep it 100. I confronted my man about what he said, and he assured me that he's not dissing Kane, and I believed him, and we brought it out, but he was just saying that was something different. And he's like, okay, good. And this is at the Apollo. We had a show this night. This is at the Apollo. And he's like, okay, cool. He's like, you probably got to tell my brother because he's coming. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh my God. But true to form, no one ever confronted Long about what he said. It all came to me because I'm the lead vocal. You know what I'm saying? It was like I said it, this and the other. I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, you know, like I told him, like, yo, make sure this is not a diss.
Right.
It's not a diss. Cool. Everybody comes to me. All right, cool. So when Kane gets there, you know, I'm like, you know, I confront it straight up, like, you know, like, yo, I spoke to Shane, this and the other, and he told me about a scenario where Kane is sitting around a TV with like G-Rap and like Eric B. And as soon as the video comes on, they all looking at him like, oh snap, he dissing you. And I'm like, wow, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of assure him, like, look, man, my little man said this. I said, but I'm not throwing him under the bus. I'm letting you know how it played out. When he said it, I confronted him about it. He assured me that he wasn't dissing you and that he was really just trying to say that we're a new group. There's vanilla, there's chocolate, we're something that's different. That's it. That's all. I'm a fan of yours. I hope this doesn't go any further. I said, and if he's in trouble, then I have to be in trouble too. That's my man. I said, but I did confront him about it, and I'm assuring you, he didn't mean nothing about it. And I'm telling you face to face, I definitely wasn't dissing you. And that's all I could do as a man, you know what I'm saying? Anything from there that takes place, then that's what takes place. But that him being the admirable, the general, the, you know, the dope statesman that he is, he heard what I said, he listened to it, and he rolled with it, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure he definitely monitored my temperature. I'm sure he, you know, like he had to examine it. He had to look at it for, you know, see if I'm trying to be a funny dude, which I would have understood, you know what I'm saying? And anything that would have happened, but just to say that he was really cool about it. And that night, like I said, I had a show at the Apollo. I put him in my freestyle. He's literally, you know, big shout to Kane in my freestyle. And, you know, years later would go on to become, you know, I'm not gonna call him a friend, but we're definitely good associates. We have each other. We do shows together. Like, you know, it played out very cool. You know, and I feel like I could reach out to him if I ever needed to. You know, he's a good dude, really good dude, good father, you know, good person. You know, but that was the beginning of Flavor of the Month. And it was kind of serious to the degree that even Red Alert didn't play that record. Word up. Whereas, you know, Kane was his relationship with him. And so I expect that Red didn't know if we were trying to backdoor some shit or whatever. Red just stepped back from it. And it would be a while before he felt comfortable playing it. And you know, and we had to understand that. You know, we were the new kids on the block, and you know, and we came in ruffling a few feathers even if we didn't mean to. You know, and that's another thing I learned. You can ruffle feathers when you don't mean to, you know. And you know, and that's what it was. But over time, I think, you know, we started getting to know people better. People started seeing who we are, even artistically. You know, we wasn't trying to come in on some shock value to get our props. Like, we didn't have to. Like, we were nice. We were dead nice at what we do. And you know, so, you know, that was Flavor of the Month, but I still choose Flavor of the Month over choice.
Yes. That's a great story. So I see why you chose that story. All right. Final question. All right.
Sure.
Before you leave this earth, what is the legacy you want left behind?
The legacy. That Dres was one of the very best at getting better. All right. Dres was one of the very best at getting better. That's what this has been for me. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, some of the dopest things that I've done in my career haven't been on anyone's radar. You know, like, you know, a lot of people are really caught up in the first album and the success of the first album. I have my own label, and I've put out, you know, solo projects. I've put out a project with me and Jerobi under the moniker Evertan, which is native spelled backwards. I put out some amazing work that a lot of people might have never heard. You know what I'm saying? And all been me learning how to do things on my own, learning not on a label or any entity other than my own ambitions, and as an MC, I've consistently gotten better with all of the music that I've put out. And I have an amazing project that's coming called, I don't know if you're familiar with what I'm about to be releasing soon. It's a project that I was blessed by the mother of Jay Dilla to go through his personal and create a project. The project, I named it a group. The group name is D&D. D&D is Dilla and Dres. I have an album that's coming out this summer that is 100% produced by Jay Dilla. And
I think I do.
Yeah, it's gonna blow up anyway. It's got features by the likes of Bun B, Freeway, Chuck D, let me see, my man Jay Sands, CeeLo Green. I've got Corey Guns, Chi Ali, Myson, my man Sauce Money. I've got this amazing project that's 100% produced by Jay Dilla under the moniker D&D, Dilla and Dres. That'll be coming out this summer. And it's an amazing piece of work. And I look forward to people hearing it. And it reminds me a little bit of the remix of The Choice Is Yours, because it's one of those things where I don't know what's about to happen, but something's about to happen. You know, it's one of those. You know, I feel really good about it. It's a powerful project. It makes you feel good. The name of the album is called No Words for a good reason. This is the project that like when you're telling somebody about when somebody from my generation is telling someone younger about the golden generation, about the golden era, this is the album you give them. This is the, you know, this is the album that says I could show you better than I could tell you, you know, and they'll get a chance to kind of understand, you know, where we come from with it. You'll put on some headphones and you'll go away from where you are. I promise you. It's a very empowering project. It's a feel-good project. You know, it's very reflective of the hip hop that I bring to the table.
We're ready, guys. We're ready. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time, man. Thank you. Any final words?
I needed to start off with an apology. I so apologize for missing the last time we were supposed to. I had the blowout of life on the highway. Like I had never had a wheel blowout on the highway before, and I was trying to get positioned to get home for us to have our interview, and literally like wound up pulling off the highway on a rim. So I wanted to apologize for not being able to get to our last meeting.
I'm not a person who gets size. I'm good. I understand it here. Thank you.
It didn't mean I owe you an apology. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for having me sincerely. I really appreciate it. Taking the time to listen to an old man.
You ain't no old man. You're a legend. You're moving the culture forward. Come on now. Come on. That's when. Thank you. Mwah.
Thank you so much. Much love back at you. Yes. You have a good one. Thank you. Big shout out to everybody that watched us and checked us out. Much love.
Follow him. Y'all know.
Oh, you follow me. I'm on IG, Black Sheep Dres. Black Sheep Dres on IG. I'm on Twitter at Dres Black Sheep. And you can go by my website, poolofgenius.com. Poolofgenius.com. Check out some of the solo projects I was talking about. Check out the Everton album, me and Jerobi, and there's a bunch of videos you've probably never seen. And you can get some Black Sheep merch. Word up.
That's how you do that. Now that's the closer. You hear me? Let it be known.
All right.
Okay. Yes.
That's
love you all.
All right. You have a good one.
You too.